Hi, welcome. This is a fantasy story set in Camelot. It looks at a young man who has made a choice and the consequences of that choice. He gets everything he ever wanted except what he really wanted. But how would you choose between love and power? Our hero faced a choice of gifts. The black dragon crashed through the ceiling, teeth bared, fire emerging from its nostrils, azure eyes sparkling with fury. The king and his court recoiled in horror as the goblin horde burst through the throne room door. Laughter and harsh, indecipherable words floated in the air, promising destruction. Death would run amok in a pool of flames with cruel cudgels, completing the doom of the assembled court. The silver-haired woman, a queen, a mother of five, shrank in fear as her husband's hand gripped her arm in shared terror. All that stood in the way of the destruction of the house of Pendragon was a heroine, a simple peasant girl on the edge of womanhood. The girl wore a blue skirt, white shirt, a sword belt, and a quiver with only one arrow. Her face set in determination as she drew and loosed that arrow, putting it through the dragon's right eye. Yet no arrow vanished from the quiver as she popped and released again. The missile pierced the dragon's second eye as its smile turned howl and it dropped onto the goblin horde, killing most of them, but not all. 10 giant hobgoblins, each the size of a black bear, emerged around the size of the dragon. Their armor shone brightly, well-burnished steel reflecting light. Each carried a mace looking to weigh as much as a wolf as they charged the maid. With them, a dark shaman appeared uttering an incantation. The magic bow turned to slime and fell to the ground. The heroine did not hesitate. Her sword emerged, and she became the wind swirling from her attacker's right to left and back again. 5 times she blew across the hobgoblin line. A whirl of blonde hair, blue dress, and steel blade as each time she sliced through the neck or leg with a mortal blow dispatching a foe. Then came another incantation from the shaman. Ice formed in the air, whirling around and then surrounding the girl, freezing her in place. The shaman laughed as he stepped forward, dagger in hand, leering at her helplessness before his will. Alwi sprung from behind a curtain beside the king, hurling a lightning bolt at the raver who burst into pieces which shattered to the floor. The room erupted in applause as Alois made another set of hand gestures. The dragon and goblins vanished, with the girl following 3 heartbeats later. "Well done," said King Arthur III. "That was your best show yet. I dare say you had Queen Jennifer spooked." The queen nodded in agreement as her cheeks regained their color. With this, the party adjourned to the feasting hall. Alois hung back, examining the room. He'd eclipsed his master. No doubt the ambassador from the Franks had noted the prowess of the Breton Merlins. He remembered the magic coursing through his veins during the illusion and the joy it has brought, well worth the 2 cups of mana dust he'd consumed for the exhibition. What Alois didn't understand was why he felt so lost. 15 years ago, Alois had been a boy on the edge of manhood, twirling a wooden ring in his pocket, the best he could afford. Saranda deserved better than dressing in brown peasant rags, better than barely feeding herself, but it was all he offered, and he loved her. When she smiled, the sun rose in his heart. He saw how she played with the young children of the village, not just her brother and sister, but all of them. It hurt the way he loved her, wanting nothing more than to embrace her and help her raise beautiful children, yet wanting to give her more than the little piece of land their Lord would grant them. Alois had no choice. Alois's love would trap them as surely as any prison. He twirled the ring and pushed his fears aside as he watched Serena clean a little girl's skinned knee and wipe her tears away. Alois should help. He usually did, but today he just wanted to watch her, feeling like a puppy warming itself on a rock under the spring sun. He noticed the mayor watching as well, the recently childless widow keeping a fatherly eye on the village's children. You know you have the gift. Alois turned to see a Merlin, complete with shoulder-high staff, black cloak and hat. He'd heard nothing of such a visitor. Where had this man come from? I don't think I've ever seen anyone with such natural strength. Your power called to me from 10 leagues away. Has anyone ever told you? The boy gripped the ring as he shook his head. Pardon me, sir, but I don't know what you're talking about. I can fell a tree quick as any man, and I'm handy with the plow. A waste, the Merlin said. Young man, you have powers far stronger than any axe. You have magic, Alois. The ability to create fantastic illusions, help crops grow, turn aside monsters, command forces beyond most mortals' reckoning. These abilities are all within your reach. I shall teach you. How did he know his name? Oh, right, a Merlin. Sir, I think you're mistaken. I can't even read, and I can barely do my sums. I'm just a lucky boy. Serena hugged the child and turned toward them, frowning when she saw the Merlin. Indeed you are. Come with me, and you will see how lucky. I already know that, he said as he took a step towards his love. Although if this were true, perhaps he had a better world to offer Serena. You have no concept, but I will show you. Warmth engulfed him, and a tingling that spread from his loins to all parts of his body, followed by a feeling of undiluted joy. Then the village changed before his eyes. Serena dressed as he knew she should be, in a blue dress with a white shirt. The wooden huts turned to stone, and music flowed through the air as if a chorus of angels sang with delight. Then it all vanished. Alois's home became normal again, and he turned back to the Merlin. What? This is what you have the power to do. Come with me and you will become more than you ever dreamed of. But my girl, doesn't matter. You are taking a path that is more important. He could give Serena everything she deserved. A rich, powerful husband who all respected and looked up to. Every luxury imaginable. I should say goodbye. But the wizard was already walking away. Alois made his decision, yelling, I'll be back, then running after the promise of a better future. Jovius, grandson of the original Merlin, taught him well. Alois was reading within a month, and his mind opened to the wonders of the world outside the world. Magic. Spells came to him easily, and his mind retained incantation as if they were carved inside his skull. He found the weaving of the way between the worlds delightful beyond anything he'd known. Magic became like a lover to him, almost. Perhaps there were days he didn't think about Serena, but days turned into months and then years, and there was always more to learn. Surely she'd found another to love her, and she cradled her precious babies with someone else. Her soft lips brushed another's flesh. Her smiles and laughter rained on someone else. I always knew it was pointless to return to the village for her. Yet the thought of that lover, some boy, either his friend or his enemy, but now his victorious rival, Alois's power could rip his replacement away from his love, rending enemy flesh into minuscule pieces. But new magic always brought him back, and learning became the heart of his lust, defeating his dreams of Sarana, barely. There was no tragedy here. He'd had a good life, rising to become the king's personal Merlin at the unheard of age of 25. He'd ended famines, decided wars, healed the sick, leveraging the kingdom's rich supply of mana dust to great effect. Every spell brought him pleasure, sending his heart into the sky. Surely Serena had done well too. Such a girl as she must have found love. He had the ability to check on her, but not the courage. As Always walked into the dining room after dispatching his illusionary dragon and heroine, he spotted a young servant girl, no more than 12. She could have been his lover's twin on the day he left. The words slid through his lips. Serena? The girl looked up and said, "How did you know my mother's name?" Now he risked rubbing powder between thumb and forefingers as he looked into the girl's eyes. He witnessed a baby being born 2 years after he left, nestling in Serana's arms, just as he'd always imagined. But behind his love stood a man, the town mayor, Carul, easily 15 years her senior. Carul treated her kindly, but kept her pregnant in search of more children. This girl, Talish, was the only one who survived. Serena died during her 6th pregnancy. Carul was distraught, burying himself in the bottle and falling prey to his taxes. The penalty for this should have been jail, and would have been had he not fallen into a fire in a drunken stupor. And so the crown took his daughter. These were tragedies, but there were also moments of fun and frolic. Tears were wept beyond counting, but Serena had been the mother he had known she would be, loving this little girl, playing with her, helping her make friends, teaching her wisdom. She had given Talish the strength she needed to bear her suffering. "Sir," Talish said, bringing him back to the present, "you have had a hard life. Your mother was special to me." The girl stared back at him wide-eyed, no doubt afraid of his intentions and her inability to prevent whatever he might desire. "Talish, I'm going to make a promise to you. I will never hurt you, never mistreat you, and always protect you. In a different world, you would be my daughter. I would like to adopt you." The girl looked wary. He reached into his tunic and pulled out a cord, passed through a wooden ring. "I meant to give this to your mother. It was all I could afford. I loved her very much." With this, he had no breath left in him. "You're that Eloise?" Hope passed across her face like a dove. As the Merlin nodded, the girl's arms went around him, and he was finally home. Thank you for spending time with me. If you like this, you may like Love's Broken Message. Bless you. May your difficult choices lead you to that which you need most.